little doubt that West Ham have modernised, both in terms of recruitment, in terms of the way we're doing things. Tim Stuyton coming in, a streamlined recruitment. There's no doubt about that at all. I think the way that Lewis Orford and Ollie Scholes have signed new deals as promising academy players who will hopefully make the breakthrough into the first team within the next couple of years, and that has been overseen by Mark Noble, who's sporting director, is good news. I think that shows a lot of progress. The data analytics department, the fact that we've gone and got Maximilian Hans over from the Bundesliga, who again is another apparently scouting genius. And anyway, everything, there's so much that points towards West Ham modernising and West Ham sort of becoming, maybe it's somewhat similar to those clubs that have been doing things the continental way, let's put it that way, for quite some time. But there's one thing that I think has really highlighted why a part of the club's probably still in the dark ages, and it's the signing of Luis Guilherme. And there was a particular interaction which I found very, very interesting. Now, I did a video towards the end of the transfer window and said, look, this Luis Guilherme thing, it's possibly not working out here. Maybe we should get him out on loan. And the general consensus was it was a little bit too early to say that. We need to wait. We need to wait and see. But there was enough pushback to say you can't go and send him out on loan. We just paid £20 million for him, and that was quite telling, because I think whilst it wasn't the club that was saying that, I do think that's probably the ethos of the club, and it's massively removed from the way that the other continental clubs do things. Because make no mistake about it, a lot of clubs on the continent, particularly the big ones, will think nothing of buying a talented player from South America at 15, 20 million quid or whatever and going and putting him out on loan. That's not even something that they would consider to be an issue. However, you sort of get the impression from West Ham, maybe there's a little bit too much of an embarrassment to do that. But I do believe it's probably would have been the right thing for the player, because he's in something of a, you know, like he's basically like a zombie. Like they say the zombies like on The Walking Dead, where they're not, they're the undead. They're not quite dead. And they're not quite, but they're not living. They're in this sort of state of perpetuity of just zombie-like beings. And I think that's what Luis Guilherme is in a moment, because he's not deemed good enough for the first team. For whatever reason, not deemed that he could be put out on loan. But also too good for the under-21s. So I think what you have is this situation whereby this young player is doing nothing. And it can't be easy for him. It really can't. I think it's an upheaval of moving from Brazil. He's brought his family with him. Yes, I think that's great. He's only 18. And he's come to a new country, new culture. And probably the one thing that would be familiar to him is playing football. And he's sort of being denied that at the moment. And there was certainly a school of thought which is, he's had too much upheaval, you can't send him off on loan now. Well, actually, that's sort of what happens. That does happen to a lot of players. In many respects, that wouldn't be deemed to be something that was an unusual route, an unusual path for a young player that had come over from Brazil to come sign for a European club. And let's be fair, look, West Ham are a big European club. Look, we play in a big stadium, won the European trophy relatively recently. There would be no perception that necessarily that somebody could come over and walk straight into the first team. That would be quite normal to take somebody and say, we'll put you out on loan. So I just think it would have been the sensible thing for West Ham to do in this instance. And I think we're sort of devoid of anything, because I was thinking the other day, actually, even if we just, there's no chance of him starting against Chelsea, right? There's no chance of him starting. Not only is there no chance of him starting, he's unlikely to be on the bench. Now, I would really love to be proved wrong, but I just don't think it's likely. I think it would create a bit of a buzz in that stadium at some point if you saw him warming up on the touchline and then you saw his number being held up and he was going to be brought on a sub. I mean, it's just a lovely thought, but it ain't going to happen, right? That is just not happening. So what are we going to do what's best for the player here? Because I don't think it's just best for the player, it's best for West Ham. It's easy to say, he's one for the future, but I'll tell you what I'll be doing now. I'll be taking this player and I'll be putting him in the under-21s now. And there's the obvious reason for that. It gets him playing football. Because he can't be enjoying just training with the first team with no view of playing at all. So there'll be times during first team training where people from the under-21s will come over and join. We know Ollie Scarl's been involved. We know Lewis Orford has been involved. Yet he'll see them come in, join in with some first team training drills. And then they'll go and play football for the under-21s. And then the other sort of senior players will go off and they'll go and play for the main team. And I understand why he's not playing. I understand that probably Lopetegui is going to have to play Somerville first. And Somerville, I want to see more of Somerville. I really do. I'm not suggesting that West Ham have got to do a particular thing. But we can't do nothing. Because at the moment, that's exactly what we're doing. And I do think there is a really, really obvious solution here that gets him playing football, gets West Ham increasing and ring-fencing an asset, which, let's be fair, we spent £20 million on, and also keeps the player happy. I think this is really, really important. But before I tell you what that thing is, today's video is sponsored by Manscaped, and this is the Manscaped Lawnmower 5.0. It is a brilliant bit of kit. It's waterproof. It's got ceramic blades so it doesn't cut and nick those nasty bits you don't want it to cut and nick. And I do believe that Manscaped make the best male grooming tools on the market. And I should know because I've been using various beard trimmers and shavers for years and years and years. And you probably notice if you're a regular watcher, I don't clean shave. I never have. I basically use a trimmer. Now, it was for a long, long time, I would just use basically hair trimming tools to do it. Then I got a little beard trimmer. It wasn't until I got Manscaped that I got the right tool for the job. And we're going to be able to give you 20% off plus free shipping of any Manscaped product you wish to buy. The lawnmowers, let's be fair, this is a pube trimmer, basically. My favourite product is the beard trimmer, where you can set the different levels to trim, cultivate your beard, manicure your moustache, do what you want. That's a lovely bit of kit. That's never down here for videos because it's always up in the bathroom being used. I'm going to tell you something else as well now. This is the 5.0. The reason the 5.0 is always in this video is I've still got the 4.0 up there. That's magnificent as well. The 5.0 has got these wonderful ceramic blades. They do not cut. They do not nick. They do not cut you in place you don't want to be cut. It's waterproof. You can actually use it in the shower. No, you haven't got to worry about getting out. It doesn't matter if this thing gets wet. It's got a torch so you can see your pecker, which is always, I think, a very, very good thing. It's just a wonderful, wonderful bit of kit. Everything that they do is absolutely brilliant. Go and check them out. The link's in the description below. Go to Manscaped. We got a discount code. It's HammersChatPubes, all one word. 20% off plus free shipping. This, by the way, I've got to show you, interchangeable heads. I don't know how well you can see that because it's a little bit dark in here. If I take this bit off here, which I've just done, then this is like your regular shaver bit, right? You put that on there, it's as easy as that. Now look, honestly, it's bloody good gear. So, Luis Guilherme, what is the obvious thing that's got to do? Well, it is clear. Put him in the under-21s now and then move him on and get him a loan deal. That's going to have to happen in January. We already have a young Brazilian player in our under-21s. It's not like it can't be done. Luis Guilherme has been in there. Well, I mean, to be fair, there is the very example of somebody in a state of limbo, in a state of perpetuity, and somebody that's sort of stagnating. West Ham bought Luis Guilherme over from Brazil. He's meant to be the next young up-and-coming Brazilian defender, and he has just stayed in the under-21 team. Look, I'm not saying that would happen to Guilherme. To be fair, Guilherme was courted and was, he was one of the best three young players in Brazil. Get him in the under-21s. Now, the under-21s are excellent, but they've been a bit decimated by players going out on loan, be it Patrick Kelly, Callum Marshall, George Earthy's gone out on loan. We've got a number of players who have gone out on loan. So as a result of that, basically Ollie Scarls has been playing, featuring occasionally in central midfield as well, because the numbers are a little bit down. There's been a few players who have had to come up from the lower teams, from the under-18s. Basically, I think West Ham have done the right thing by getting Earthy, by getting Marshall, by getting Kelly and the rest, Kadua, out on loan. I think that's the right thing to do. I really do. But it has left gaps in that under-21 team. And I think Guilherme may be a superstar. I mean, imagine him going into the under-21s and scoring a hat-trick or something. I think he'd be really good. He's got somebody there in Luis Guilherme who's a compatriot. He's a fellow Brazilian. He's got someone that speaks Brazilian Portuguese while he settles. I mean, it just seems like the right thing to do. And I'm really hoping that West Ham do it. Because the longer it gets on, the worse it is. The longer it goes on, you start to think, as a fan, you start to think maybe we made a mistake signing him. But probably worse than that, as a player, you think, I might have made a mistake signing for this club. Because I don't know what he was promised. Maybe this is part of the plan. But if part of the plan was you come in at West Ham and you're going to train for a year, and then we'll start to sort of get you into the first team, that's not how it's done. That's not how anybody does it. The list is so long, it's not even worth doing. The list of players that were registered, that were signed, registered to big clubs. Okay, Chelsea, it's ironic because Chelsea are the obvious example because we're about to play them this weekend. But the list of players who've done that, signed for them, then gone on loan, gone and thrived in wherever it is, Holland or Belgium or whatever the case may be, and then come back and hit the ground running, is long. It's extensive. In fact, I would go as far as to say what they are doing is the norm. What West Ham are doing is unusual. It's like we've got some secret squirrel way of doing it. There's a reason everybody else does it the other way. I don't think it's particularly good for the player. I really don't. And I do wonder if there's been any real planning or any foresight into bringing this kid over. Because at the end of the day, he is 18 years of age. He's in a foreign country. We've signed him to play football and he's not playing football. Any of it. I do think it's incredible for West Ham. I really do. I think it's incredible that we sign a player. And you've got to remember the razzmatazz when he was signed. It was big news. This kick-started it was back in June. It kick-started our transfer window. We were all elated. We couldn't believe it. Everything has changed. West Ham are getting deals done early. We were going and we're buying young, talented young players. By and large, people are very, very happy about this. Really happy about it. And now he's almost disappeared. You barely even see him on the videos and the stuff that the club, the official club, put out there. He's not really involved. And if the perception is, and you can't see him involved, he can't feel involved. And it's something we've got to sort out, for us and for him. It's a weird situation. West Ham have got three choices. We either play him in the first team, or keep him in and around the first team squad. We either get him out on loan, or we put him in the under-21s. We appear to have done none of it.